Now, she's a businesswoman, she's a trendsetter, and South Africa's first ever talk show host. You'll recognize her name, Felicia Mabuza-Suttle. The Felicia Show was the first show that enabled black and white South Africans to come together and debate issues that they couldn't discuss during apartheid. And in this special feature, our reporter Slindelo Masikane sits down with the media mogul.
Just for those who don't know Felicia Mabuza-Suttle, who is she? What makes her tick?
Felicia Mabuza-Suttle is a girl who grew up in the dusty, daring, dangerous streets of Soweto, who dared to dream. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted, and I'm not talking about wealth here, I wanted to be somebody, and that is why I always tried to be around people who I admired. The people I admired somehow seemed to exude confidence. And as I always say, without confidence, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you've won even before you have started. And that's what I learned from the people that I looked up to. And I'm going to use Mr. and Mrs. Maponya because that is why I'm here for Papa Maponya's funeral. And it was at that house that I met these guests from abroad who came and visited the Maponyas, who are neighbors in Dube. These visitors came from overseas. They looked good, they spoke eloquently, they dressed good, and you wanted to be like them.
What made you fall in love with journalism? How did you know that this is what I want to do?
I went to school, and my first and second year, I studied law. Whilst I was there, I realized that I want to come back to South Africa at some point in my life. Then I was told that I would have to take a bar exam in South Africa as well and a bar exam in America. And I said, no, what's the closest? Journalism was it, because it did what I wanted to do, to give people hope, to defend people, to inform people. I've always been a teacher at heart. I had a dance school, for example, in Soweto in the 70s, and the whole idea was to keep young people out of the streets. People like Shadow Twala were also in that dance school and doing the cha-cha-cha, rumba and whatever. And I also used it as a way of conscientizing, which was a word we used those days, young people. At that time, people like Jeff Butler, Steve Biko, somehow I was getting close to those people, and they were really teaching me a lot of things, and I would take that to go and share with the young people at Zwelopili.
We're talking about drugs in the music industry.
They call you the Oprah of South African talk show television.
I came back to South Africa in November 1992, and we taped the first show there. It was Top Level. And the idea then was to interview Americans. That was the SABC's idea, to interview Americans from South Africa. And I said, that's not what our people want. They really don't care to hear what Americans are doing. We need to start the conversation here. So I turned it around and made it a show where we talk here about what is needed in South Africa. Let's make it the voice of the people.
Leaving South Africa, how difficult was that?
I did not even know where I'm going to. You talk of guts. That was gutsy, but I knew that people like Miriam Makeba had been abroad, and those are the people that I admired.
Any hopes of you coming back home?
Well, I did answer the clarion call in '92 when Mandela called on all South Africans living abroad to come back home. I did come back home. The backlash, though, was quite interesting. I thought I was going to be received with open arms, but instead it was, how umfazi onjani lo shiya abantwana nendoda. But sometimes when the mission is bigger than you can even imagine, when your passion is bigger than you can even imagine, when you want to pursue a goal bigger than you, bigger than what you feel you've been put on earth for, you do it. And my family was very supportive. Paycheck versus purpose. And my body is in America with this paycheck. My heart is in South Africa with this purpose that I still feel has to be fulfilled. I'm working on something right now. My major concern is the young people, are the youth. When you say 55% of our children our youth are unemployed, are purposeless. They don't quite know where they want to go, what is happening. I do feel the need to come and pursue a purpose again at home. And let's just stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned.
Are you able to perform with all these drugs? What do they do? I mean, there's also a perception that the drugs made you perform better.
Yeah, well, that's a joke.
Journalism, when you are still practicing, and what you see around journalism today.
If you've given someone a brief, stop trying to have your trick questions. That's not what try to look smarter than your guest. That's not it. Your job is not to be the FBI or the CIA agent trying to catch somebody. Your job is to try and bring out the best out of your guest, to share information, to impart knowledge, to inspire people, to encourage them in some way, not to trick them. So I get concerned when we give a brief and then we run away from that brief, and you're just happy that you got the person in there and your goal is to embarrass them. No, that's not what journalism is all about. Go back and go and understand the ethics of journalism.
What kind of a legacy do you want to leave behind?
I have no regrets. My life has been a good life. I feel I have empowered and can still empower. That's maybe what I still want to do. I love my culture, I love my country, I love my people, and no one can take that away from me. That's it.
But I couldn't let Mama Felicia go without taking her back to her days as a dancer.
1, 2, 1.
First Lady of Talk, indeed.